You know, AI is like the buzzword these days, right? Everyone's talking about it like it's going to change the world.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But sometimes I feel like I need a whole degree just to understand what's actually going
I
on.
figured that.
It's all jargon and hype, and I just want to know, like, what does it all really mean?
Right.
And how do we make sure this AI revolution actually benefits everyone, not just like the big tech companies?
Yeah, that's the big question.
And that's where we're diving into this Fetch.ai's ASI1 mini thing today.
Interesting stuff.
It's doing some seriously cool stuff that could like totally change how we interact with AI.
Definitely a lot of potential there.
So get ready to like demystify this whole Web3 wonder and understand why everyone's making such a fuss about it.
All right, let's get into it.
So what's exciting about this ASI1 mini is that it's not just like another AI model, trying to be the biggest and the flashiest.
It's different.
It's built specifically for Web3,
Uh-huh.
which is like the decentralized internet. And that means it can work directly with like decentralized applications and services. And that opens up like a whole new world of possibilities for how we even use AI.
Yeah, you're not limited by the traditional structures anymore.
Okay, so Web3 is all about cutting out the middleman, right?
The idea.
More control for users, less power for like the big companies.
Exactly.
But how does that actually play out with an AI like this? Like what makes it different from what we're used to?
Well, think of it this way. Traditional AI models are kind of like walled gardens.
Okay.
They're controlled by a single company. But ASI1 Mini, it's designed to operate in a much more open and collaborative environment.
I see.
It's more like a team player in the decentralized world.
Got it.
So it can interact with other AI agents and services without needing permission from some central authority.
So it's more like a team of collaborators than a lone wolf.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I guess kind of fits with that whole Web3 ethos.
Makes sense.
But for those of us who are still kind of wrapping our heads around all of this, let's back up a bit. What exactly is this thing? What can it actually do?
Imagine a super smart computer program that can understand like really complex instructions
Okay.
and solve problems even better than some of the most advanced AI models out there.
Really?
Yeah, and the best part, it does all this at a fraction of the cost.
Wait, so top-notch performance without needing like a bajillion dollars?
That's the idea.
Now you're talking my language.
Uh-huh.
That's got to be like a game changer for smaller companies or even just individuals who want to use AI.
It levels the playing field a bit.
But how is it so efficient? Like, what's the secret sauce?
One of the key things is its unique way of processing information and making decisions.
Oh, okay.
It's got 4 different reasoning modes,
Interesting.
so it can adjust its approach depending on how complex the task is.
Makes sense.
It's like having a specialized team.
Oh, okay.
Each member is an expert in a different area, and ASI1 Mini knows exactly who to call for each specific problem.
That's a great way to visualize it. So it's not just one massive brain trying to do everything.
Nope.
It's like a whole network of specialized agents working together.
Exactly. It's thanks to these 2 powerful frameworks, mixture of models, or MOM, and mixture of agents, or MOA.
Oh, wow. More acronyms.
I know, right?
So MOM is what? Like having a library of different AI brains.
Yeah, you got to each specializing in a specific task. So ASI1 Mini can dynamically select the best brain for the job,
I see.
just like you'd choose the right tool from a toolbox.
Okay. And what about MOA?
That allows multiple agents to collaborate and communicate with each other.
Cool.
Creates a more decentralized and robust system.
So it's adaptable, picks the right tool for the job, and plays well with others.
Pretty much.
This is starting to sound like the dream team of AI, but can you give me like a real-world example of how this would actually work in practice?
Sure, let's say you're planning a trip.
Okay.
You could ask ASI1 Mini to find the best flights, book accommodations, even recommend local attractions. The multi-step reasoning mode would break that complex task down into smaller, more manageable steps.
Gotcha.
Then the MOM framework would call on specialized agents for each step. One for finding flights, another for booking hotels, and so on.
So it's like having your own personal AI travel agent.
Exactly.
That sounds amazing.
Right. Takes care of all the tedious details.
Yeah, and make sure everything runs smoothly.
Exactly.
I'm sold.
And the MOA framework would make sure that all these agents are working together seamlessly,
Okay.
like a well-coordinated team, to create the perfect itinerary for you.
Wow. This is awesome.
And of course, this is just one example.
Right.
The possibilities are huge,
I can imagine.
from personalized medicine to decentralized finance and beyond.
Mind-blowing.
Totally.
Okay. I'm starting to see the bigger picture here.
Good.
I'm still curious about the nuts and bolts.
Sure.
We read that ASI 1 Mini has this 3-layer architecture. Can you unpack that for us a bit?
Think of it like this. ASI 1 Mini has 3 main layers that work together.
Okay.
You've got the foundational layer that's like the central brain managing everything. Then you have the specialization layer where all those specialized AI models we talked about live,
Okay.
like a marketplace of experts.
Got it.
And finally, there's the action layer where agents from the agent-first marketplace come in to actually carry out tasks in the real world.
So it's like a well-organized system with each layer playing a crucial role.
Exactly.
This all sounds incredibly efficient.
It is.
But what about scalability? Can this thing handle massive amounts of data and complex tasks without slowing down?
That's a key question, and the answer is yes.
Good.
Remember we mentioned that ASI 1 Mini can achieve enterprise-grade performance on just 2 GPUs.
Yeah.
That means it can handle huge amounts of data and complex calculations without needing a massive server farm like a lot of other AI models need.
So it doesn't need a whole room full of computers to run?
Nope.
That's impressive.
It is.
And that reduces costs significantly and makes it more accessible for businesses and developers of all sizes to actually use this power.
That's the goal.
And it's reflected in the benchmark results, too.
Right.
In certain areas like medicine and finance, ASI 1 Mini actually rivals or even outperforms some of the biggest names in AI.
That's true.
Wow, that's really saying something.
It is.
What about the future? Are there any plans to make this even more powerful?
Oh, yeah. Fetch.ai is planning to significantly expand ASI 1 Mini's token processing capabilities.
Okay, hold on. Tokens.
Yeah.
What do tokens have to do with AI?
Tokens are basically chunks of information that the AI processes.
Okay.
Think of it like breaking down a text into individual words or sentences.
So the more tokens an AI can handle,
Yeah,
the bigger and more complex the projects it can tackle.
exactly.
So we're talking about analyzing massive data sets, research papers, entire books,
You got it.
maybe even predicting the stock market.
Potentially.
Imagine the possibilities for research, for data analysis, for understanding complex systems in ways we never could before.
It's really exciting.
I'm starting to feel like we're only scratching the surface here.
Yeah, there's a lot more to it.
But before we go any further, I want to talk about something that's probably on everyone's mind too.
What's that?
You know how with a lot of AI, it's like a black box?
Oh, yeah.
We put data in, we get answers out, but we don't actually know how it arrived at those answers.
The black box problem.
Right.
Yeah, it's a big one.
And that can be kind of unsettling.
Definitely, especially in sensitive areas like healthcare or finance, where decisions need to be understandable and justifiable.
Right. You don't want to just blindly trust an AI with important decisions.
For sure.
You want to be able to understand its reasoning.
Transparency is key.
So how does ASI 1 Mini address this?
It uses a continuous, multi-step reasoning process.
Okay.
Instead of just spitting out a final answer, it kind of shows its work, so to speak.
I like that.
You can see the steps it took, the logic it followed.
Makes sense.
It makes the whole process much more transparent and understandable.
So it's not just about giving you an answer. It's about explaining its thought process,
Yes,
which I think is key for building trust.
definitely.
That makes a lot of sense. And it definitely aligns with the whole idea of democratizing AI, right?
Yeah.
Giving people access to this powerful technology, but also making sure they can understand how it works.
Absolutely.
The more transparent AI becomes, the more people can engage with it and understand it and potentially even contribute to its development.
Right. It's not about keeping it locked away in a lab somewhere.
Yeah, it's about moving away from a world where AI is controlled by a select few and towards a future where it's a tool that everyone can use and benefit from.
A more equitable future.
Okay, I'm really starting to grasp the big picture here, but there's one last piece of the puzzle I want to explore before we move on.
What's that?
Earlier, we briefly mentioned Agentverse.
Wait.
Can you paint a clearer picture for our listeners about what that actually is?
Sure.
And how ASI 1 Mini fits into it?
So Agentverse is essentially a marketplace for autonomous AI agents.
Okay.
Think of it like an app store.
Got it.
But instead of downloading apps, you're downloading intelligent agents that can perform tasks, gather information, even interact with other agents on your behalf.
So it's like having an army of little digital helpers at your fingertips.
Exactly.
That sounds amazing, but also a little overwhelming.
Uh-huh.
How do you even manage all these agents?
That's where ASI 1 Mini comes in.
Oh, okay.
You can use simple language commands to create and instruct these agents.
So I don't need to be a programmer or anything.
Nope.
Just tell the AI what I want it to do in plain English, and it handles it.
That's the idea.
So I could say something like, hey, ASI 1 Mini, create an agent that monitors my finances and alerts me if I'm overspending, and it would just do it.
Exactly.
No coding required.
Nope.
Wow.
Or you could say create an agent that finds the best deals on flights to Hawaii.
Okay.
Or create an agent that manages my social media accounts.
That's amazing.
The possibilities are pretty much endless.
This is like taking automation and personalization to a whole new level.
For sure.
But what I find really fascinating is that Agentverse is designed to be a decentralized open source ecosystem.
Huh?
This means that anyone can create and monetize their own AI agents.
Right.
So you could create a whole agentic economy.
That's a term, yeah.
Now, that's a term I haven't heard before.
It's relatively new.
Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Sure, in an agentic economy, individuals and businesses can create AI agents that perform valuable tasks
Okay.
and then offer those agents as services to others.
I see.
It's kind of like the gig economy, but for AI agents.
So it's not just about automating tasks for yourself.
No.
It's about creating AI solutions that others can use and potentially earn income from.
Exactly.
That's a really empowering concept.
It is.
It puts the power of AI in the hands of the people, allows individuals to participate in and benefit from the AI revolution in ways that weren't possible before.
Definitely opens up a lot of new possibilities.
And this is just the beginning.
Oh yeah, we're just getting started.
ASI 1 Mini is expected to evolve into a multimodal system, able to understand not just text, but images, videos, and complex data streams.
With context awareness, too.
Multimodal. Context awareness.
Yeah, it's getting pretty advanced.
Okay, now you're really making my head spin.
Uh-huh.
But I think we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive.
We have.
We've explored what ASI 1 Mini is, how it works, and its incredible potential for a more decentralized and accessible AI future.
It's an exciting time, for sure.
But there's still so much more to unpack.
Absolutely, we've only just scratched at the surface.
Okay, so we've seen like the shiny, exciting side of this whole ASI 1 Mini and the Agentverse concept.
The possibilities are pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing, to be honest.
For sure.
But you know me, I always like to look at all sides of the story.
That's a good approach.
What about like the potential downsides? Are there any risks or challenges we should be thinking about?
Well, that's a really important question. And as with any powerful technology, there are always potential downsides that we need to be aware of.
Right.
One of the biggest concerns with AI in general is the impact on jobs.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
As AI agents become more sophisticated and capable, there's a worry they could automate tasks that are currently done by humans.
Makes sense.
And that could lead to job losses in certain sectors.
Yeah, the whole robots taking our jobs scenario is something we hear a lot about these days.
It's a valid concern.
But couldn't AI also create new jobs and opportunities that we can't even imagine yet?
Absolutely. Throughout history, technological advancements have always disrupted the job market.
True.
But they've also created new industries and opportunities.
Right. Like, who could have predicted the whole social media manager job like 20 years ago?
Exactly. The key is to adapt and prepare for these changes.
So how do we do that?
Instead of focusing on jobs that might be replaced by AI, we should be developing skills that complement AI
Okay.
and allow us to work alongside it.
So it's not about humans versus AI.
No.
It's more about humans and the AI working together.
Exactly like a partnership.
Like a collaboration.
Exactly. AI can handle the repetitive data-heavy tasks, freeing us up to focus on things that require creativity, critical thinking, human interaction.
Makes sense.
We can leverage AI's strengths while focusing on our own unique capabilities.
That's a much more optimistic way to look at it.
I think so.
But what about the potential for misuse?
Uh-oh.
Could these AI agents be used for, like, harmful purposes?
Like, what do you mean?
Spreading misinformation or carrying out cyber attacks?
Ah, I see. Yeah, that's another valid concern.
It's a scary thought.
Just like any tool, AI can be used for good or bad.
Right.
That's why it's so crucial to establish ethical guidelines and safeguards from the very beginning.
So we're building guardrails as we go?
Exactly. We need to ensure that AI development and deployment align with human values,
Okay.
and that these systems are used for beneficial purposes.
So we need to make sure we're building responsible AI, not just powerful AI.
Exactly. Responsible AI should be the goal.
But how do we actually do that? Who sets those guidelines, and how do we make sure everyone plays by the rules?
That's where the decentralized nature of Web3 and the Fetch.ai ecosystem could really make a difference.
Okay, how so?
By distributing control and ownership of AI, rather than concentrating it in the hands of a few powerful entities,
Yeah.
we can potentially reduce the risk of misuse
I see.
and ensure that AI benefits everyone, not just a select few.
So it's like spreading the power around so no one entity has complete control.
Exactly. It's about democratizing AI.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential impact on jobs and the need for ethical guidelines, but what about the technical challenges?
Oh, yeah. Those are important, too.
Building a secure and reliable decentralized AI ecosystem is a massive undertaking, right?
Absolutely. We're still in the early stages of this technology.
Right.
There are many technical hurdles to overcome.
Like what?
Things like scalability, security, interoperability.
Wait, those are big ones.
Yeah, those are complex issues that require ongoing research and development.
So it's not just about having a cool idea.
Yeah.
It's about making sure the technology can actually deliver on its promises in a safe and reliable way.
Exactly.
Realism is key here.
For sure. And that's why it's important to be patient.
Okay.
Building a truly decentralized and trustworthy AI ecosystem is a long-term vision. It's going to take time, collaboration, a lot of hard work to get it right.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly.
That's a good reminder for all of us not to get too carried away by the hype.
Yeah, sometimes it's easy to get caught up in the excitement.
But even with those challenges in mind, the potential here is still mind-blowing.
Oh, for sure.
Imagine a future where AI agents are seamlessly integrated into our lives,
It's coming.
helping us manage our finances, book travel, learn new skills, and so much more.
It's going to change everything.
And not just managing tasks,
Yeah.
but helping us understand and address complex global challenges,
Exactly.
from climate change to healthcare.
The possibilities are vast.
It's exciting to see how this technology will unfold in the coming years.
It is.
Okay, you've officially blown my mind again.
Sorry.
But before we dive into the philosophical and ethical implications of all this,
Okay.
which I think is super important,
Definitely.
let's just take a moment to sit with the sheer scale of what we're talking about.
It's a lot to process.
We need to consider what a truly decentralized and democratized AI future might look like.
Yeah. What are the promises and the potential pitfalls?
All right, so we've explored the what and the how of ASI 1 Mini and this whole idea of a decentralized AI future.
We've covered a lot of ground.
But now I think it's time to grapple with the why.
Okay.
What does it all mean?
The big questions.
Yeah, what are the bigger implications, the ethical questions we need to be asking ourselves?
Well, I think that's the most crucial part of this whole conversation.
For sure.
Technology, even something as powerful as AI, is ultimately just a tool.
Right.
It's how we use it, how we shape it, and how we integrate it into our lives that truly matters.
So it's about making conscious choices
Uh-huh.
and being mindful of the potential consequences, both good and bad.
Exactly. And with AI, those choices become even more significant.
Because it's so powerful.
Yeah. One of the fundamental questions we need to ask is what role do we want AI to play in our society?
That's a big one.
Do we want it to be a force for progress, for good, for empowering individuals?
That all sound great.
Or do we risk creating something that could ultimately control us, limit our choices, and reshape society in ways we might not even anticipate?
That's a pretty profound question.
It is.
I mean, it sounds almost like something out of a science fiction movie,
Right.
but it's starting to feel a lot more realistic these days.
It is, and that's why it's so important to have these conversations and W before the technology advances beyond our control.
So we need to be proactive, not reactive.
Exactly. And the Web3 movement and Fetch.ai's vision is all about decentralization.
Okay.
It's about putting power back into the hands of individuals.
Right.
And that should apply to AI as well.
So instead of having AI controlled by a handful of corporations or governments,
Yeah.
we're talking about a future where it's more distributed, more accessible, and ultimately more accountable to the people it's supposed to serve.
That's the goal.
That's a pretty radical idea.
It is, but I think it's an important one.
And that's where this whole concept of community-owned AI comes in.
Right.
I mean, imagine a world where anyone can participate in developing training, even owning AI models,
That would be amazing.
where the benefits of AI are shared more equitably and where everyone has a say in how this technology is used.
A more democratic approach.
That's a vision I can get behind.
Me too.
But how do we actually get there? How do we bridge the gap between where we are now and that kind of future?
It's a big leap, for sure.
It seems huge.
But I don't think it's impossible.
Okay, so where do we start?
I believe it starts with education.
Education about AI.
Yeah. We need to demystify AI. Help people understand what it is, how it works, and the potential risks and benefits.
So it's about making it less scary and more understandable.
Exactly. It's about cultivating critical thinking and fostering a culture of responsible innovation.
So it's not just about teaching people how to code or build AI models.
No.
It's about teaching them to think critically about the impact of AI on society and how to use this technology ethically and responsibly.
Exactly. We need to give people the tools to make informed decisions.
Okay, that makes sense, but I can't help but think about the systemic challenges too.
Oh yeah, those are huge.
Like the tech landscape is dominated by a few very powerful players.
A few big companies.
Yeah, how do we break free from that and create a truly decentralized and democratized AI ecosystem?
That's the challenge.
How do we level the playing field?
That's where the power of open source technology and collaboration comes in.
Open source, like anyone can contribute.
Exactly. Projects like Fetch.ai are building the infrastructure for a more decentralized future,
That's a good start.
but it's going to take a collective effort.
So we all need to work together.
We need developers, researchers, policymakers, and everyday citizens all working together to make this vision a reality.
Wow, so it's going to take a movement,
It is.
a shift in mindset, not just technological innovation.
It's not just about building better technology, it's about building a better world.
Not like that.
A world where technology serves humanity, not the other way around.
A future where AI isn't something to be feared, but something to be embraced.
Exactly.
A tool that empowers us to solve problems, connect with each other, and create a more just and equitable world.
That's the dream.
And that's what makes this whole thing so exciting, so full of potential.
It is.
It's not just about building smarter machines, it's about building a smarter, more humane future for all of us.
Well said.
Well, that brings our deep dive into ASI 1 mini and decentralized AI to a close.
It's been quite a journey.
It's been incredible, filled with mind-blowing concepts and thought-provoking discussions.
We've covered a lot of ground.
But this is really just the beginning of the conversation. And I hope we've equipped our listeners with a better understanding of this complex and rapidly evolving field.
I hope so too.
Who knows, maybe some of them will be inspired to join the movement and help shape the future of AI.
That would be amazing. The more people who are engaged and informed, the better our chances of creating an AI future we can all be proud of.
I completely agree. So to our listeners, we leave you with this thought. If you could create your own AI agent to automate a task or solve a problem, what would it be?
Let your imagination run wild.
Yeah, see where it takes you. Maybe your idea will be the next big breakthrough in the world of decentralized AI.
The future is in our hands.
Let's make it a good one.
Absolutely.
That's a wrap on this deep dive. We'll be back soon with another exploration of cutting-edge technology and its impact on the world. Until then, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep dreaming big.